Hi guys, my name is Phillip Warrick and welcome to My First Deal, which ultimately led to millions. In this podcast, we explore the pivotal first deals in real estate and business that define what type of investor you are or become. Whether it was a deal that inspired you the most or a challenging one from which you learned valuable lessons, each story is unique. We interview very successful investors, local real estate groups and gurus, business moguls, authors, and celebrities from all over the world, providing inspiration and insight, whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out. Today, we've got a very special guest and a friend of mine, Kyra Sam, a real estate investor and managing partner at Growmax Capital Partners. She's helping small business owners build wealth, and she's also a proud autism mom. Kyra, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And, we interview a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. And I know you had a lot of success previous to real estate in your own coffee shop, coffee business and stuff like that. So just tell the listeners today what it is that you did, what got you where you're at, and just kind of how you got started into real estate.
Yeah. So I started, we moved to Pearland, Texas in 2015 and just saw all the growth and the development happening in this area, and always knew that I wanted to open up my own business. So as I looked around and saw what the need was for my area, I realized that we needed a coffee shop besides Starbucks. So I'm from New Orleans, and I knew about PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. I worked there when I was younger. I managed a store in New Orleans. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to open up a PJ's Coffee franchise. So I was the only one on the south side of Houston, the second franchise in the state of Texas, and opened in 2018. And then, of course, COVID came and we never closed a day. I just knew that I had to push through and make this business work, and it did. We grew in sales year after year after year. We got several awards from the franchise. And during that time, I wanted to just do it again because that's what I knew what to do. So was going to open up 4 more locations in Houston. But then I started learning about real estate and joined a group that we're a part of together, and started investing in some deals in that group as an LP, and just kept, learning and learning week after week. And then through the coffee shop, I met my current business partner, and just started talking to him about what I was doing in the group. And little did I know, I knew he did real estate and build strip centers and other things, but I didn't know that I could invest with them as well. So started talking with them and learning about what they did, and decided to join when I decided to sell. Then I decided to sell my coffee shop and pivot into real estate full time with my current partner.
Wow, such a great story. I love listening to the success stories, right? Like starting a business and all of that, right? It's that entrepreneur spirit that we all have and what attracts us to doing these big deals, right? And so I guess what you're saying then is that after you sold your business, that's really kind of what parlayed you into being able to be an LP, right? So explain to everybody here listening what an LP is. Obviously I know, and right? But some people here might not understand exactly what that means.
Yeah, so an LP is a limited partner in a transaction.
Okay.
So with that, you are just you're part owner in the deal, but you are a limited partner. So you're really kind of trusting the person that you are investing with. You don't have complete control over the deal, but you are a part of that deal, whatever it is, whether it's real estate or a business or a museum. You're kind of just a partner, you're part of it.
Okay. Okay. So as a limited partner, essentially you're investing capital, and then the general partner who you're investing in, they're actually doing the real estate part of the investment, right? They're project managing, building, doing whatever it takes to make that
Yes, yes.
partnership successful.
They're,
Gotcha.
yeah, the general partner is making sure that the project, that everything happens according to plan and that they're executing the plan and making sure that everything is coming in within budget and, managing the whole process from the beginning to the end.
Okay. How does this differ from just being a private money lender, for example? So
Being a
if you're a limited partner in the deal, as opposed to just being like a private investor, like, because when I do a lot of like single family homes, I'll have a private investor that invests. They get a promissory note and a deed of trust, right? But they have no say so in the construction of the house or the renovation or what I do with it. They're just getting a return on their investment. Most of the time, those investors are using like their IRA or their investment capital that's not getting them great returns. And we typically pay a private investor like that 8 to 12% interest on their capital, right? So they're not really participating in the real estate deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
So
how does being a private money investor differ from?
from being a limited partner in a syndication or what not that you're doing.
Well, I guess with a limited with what you're doing, you kind of have that direct access to you, right? So when they invest with you, like, hey, Phillip, what's going on in the deal? And like you're right there to kind of give them the answers because you know everything that's going on in that deal. It's your project, it's your baby, like you're in it.
Right.
With a bigger transaction, you don't necessarily know everything that's going on behind the scenes. So it's kind of sometimes harder to get answers and really know what's going on a if things are going according to plan or schedule, you don't really have that direct access.
Got it. Okay. So you really need to have a really deep relationship and know that, who you're working with is a reputable person in the community, right?
Exactly, exactly. Relationships really do come into play, and you really need to know who you're investing with and um, who you're putting your capital with, and making sure
Right.
that they are going to do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the benefits too of being an LP is you're really participating, not just like with me on a private investor, they're going to get a fixed return. Rather, I make $100,000 or $10,000, they're going to get the return that I committed to on their promissory note and deed of trust. Where with a limited partner and like a syndication, they're actually going to participate in the profits, right? And also in the losses and the tax benefits of owning real estate, right? So if y'all do like depreciation and those different tax benefits. Is that something that you guys provide there at Growmax?
Yes, yes. So some of our deals do have the depreciation component in it, like a storage facility, like you said, new construction. So in the beginning, there really isn't the depreciation, but it does come into play. And like our build to rent community, it will
Mhm.
have that depreciation piece as well, just not right in the beginning. So our projects kind of differ from like a multifamily syndication because it's not cash flowing in the beginning, so we don't have the depreciation to sell or to promise in the beginning. We
Okay.
try not to. Uh, it's not a big selling, not seeing a selling component, but we don't promise that to our investors as, oh, you're going to come in getting depreciation, because that's it comes, but we don't try to get investors just based off of depreciation.
Right. And I talk a lot about like the different profit centers within real estate, and that's just one of them, right? That's just one out of five profit centers in real estate. And so I'm sure with Growmax, you guys have different types of funds, right? Depending on if it's the built to rent community or a storage complex or the different things that you guys are into.
Yeah, so we don't have a fund set up yet. Each project is a project in itself, And
Okay.
you come in as an LP, and then there's also opportunities to be on the GP side with us as well.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you're with a very reputable company, and I'm proud of you for getting connected with them and doing those types of deals. So, I'm curious too, like what motivated you to pursue your first real estate deal? And I know you mentioned, having gotten into the group with JT Fox and that whole network, and where we've done a lot of deals together and met a lot of really great people. But what really inspired you to do your first real estate deal?
So my first real estate deal as an LP, that one,
Sure.
yeah. I just knew that I needed to learn, and it sounded like it was a good deal. So I was like, I need to jump in. Probably in that one should have did a little bit more due diligence, and not been so eager to jump in, without really knowing the person.
Okay,
Um,
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. What are the challenges kind of that you encountered with that?
so the challenges, is just not knowing the other GPs that were in on the deal, and thinking that this GP had more of a say so in the deal that he was bringing his investors in. He really didn't have control over it like we thought and like it came across when he pitched. So, a lot of the investors were surprised by that. And, like I said, we didn't do enough due diligence before we invested.
Okay, okay. So what did you do to overcome those challenges?
Well, we're still overcoming those challenges. We have our quarterly meetings, with the GP, trying to get the deal back on track, and just trying to stay in the loop more now and have him communicate with us going forward, so we can hopefully get our money back at some point, maybe next year, when we're already a year behind in the deal. So it's kind of just lingering. But hopefully we pull through and get things back on track.
Yeah, so obviously this deal didn't meet your expectations, but it sounds like you didn't quit either, right? So you're still out there pursuing new opportunities and learning from your mistakes, right? And
Exactly.
always,
Exactly.
yeah. So what are you doing different now to make sure that you don't, make those same mistakes again?
Yeah. So now that I'm partners with experienced, um, real estate, commercial land developers, just really knowing that, I'm part of the deal, and I know what's going on through the whole process of every single part of the deal, whether it's, we're interested in the lands, once we get it under contract, the due diligence period, once we decide, okay, this is a good project and we close, just being involved in the weekly calls of what's going on, the emails. So like I know what's going on every step of the way in the three deals that I'm currently in as a GP. I know everything that's going on. So when my investors ask me, email me, call me, I can answer any question that they have. And if I don't know that exact answer, then all I have to do is pick up the phone and call my partner, and I have an answer within minutes to them. So just being more involved on my end, even though people think things, oh, passive real estate investing, sometimes it's not as passive or as we think, or it could be depending on who you partner with.
That's a great point. I think we've all heard it lately that's passive income is a lie, right? So there's no such thing as passive income. There is, like you said, if you get connected with a really good group and you trust them and you've been doing business with them, but your active part of that job now becomes attending those meetings, right? Following up on all of the updates, making sure everything is going according to plan, or it's vetting more deals and more opportunities to invest in, right? Because we're constantly looking for deals that we can put our capital to work with, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what advice would you give somebody who's considering their first real estate investments?
Well, just to make sure that you really do your due diligence on the person that you're considering investing with, and making sure that they have that track record, and not just their first time doing, you know, this type of investment, even if they've been in real estate and they want to go into something else, like really they need the experience to be able to do that next venture, or make sure the person that they're partnering with really has that experience to guide them through. Um, just, yeah, I mean, experience really, and having a track record, it really matters in real estate, because they need to know how to pivot and how to have multiple strategies to get out of an investment in case their first strategy is not working. They need to learn how to have multiple ones so they can get you out and get you your money back.
Okay. So what has been your best, I guess, advice on how to vet these people, right? Because there's a lot of people, a lot of opportunities. We meet people on Zoom and we're on these meetings for an hour here and there, but do you really get to know them in the background? So what would you suggest for somebody that's wanting to get started and invest with somebody, but how do they really get to know that they're trustworthy?
Yeah, I think that takes a little bit of time, of building a relationship with someone and getting on their calls. You have your weekly coaching calls and, your power hour on Mondays. Like, people really have to get on there, see what y'all are doing. People watch you and make sure that you are doing what you say you're going to do. So just getting to know people. I mean, you have to jump in at some point. You have to pull the trigger. So really just whoever it is that you're considering working with or partnering with, just start spending time with them now. So when you are ready to make it happen, you feel very confident and you've watched them long enough and to see what they're delivering, to make that wise decision.
I love it. So it's time, like really investing time, getting to know people. And I think like even for me, and I don't know if you're guilty of this too, like sometimes we're in a hurry. Like we've got kids to raise, we got families, we got business, we got all these things to do. And we end up being like a motivated investor, like, man, I got to get this capital to work. It's just burning a hole in the bank account, right? But you really have to do your due diligence and take your time, get to know people really well before you just commit capital to them, right? Maybe start small, and as you get to know them and see how they do over the course of time as you get to know them. I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
good. So,
So what any life or business tips that you would want to share with our listeners?
well, I would just say, always learn, always, whenever there's an opportunity to listen to someone's call or jump on, like I'm doing that now. I'm really just whenever I have the opportunity, if I'm driving to get my kids and there's a podcast that I can jump on, or a coaching call that I can that I'm always listening to on, like when I'm driving my children to school, like I'm always just a sponge and wanting to learn. Um, and just don't be afraid, to jump in, but make sure it is the right partner. And just go for it.
I love it. So what's something that you're learning right now and something that you're looking forward to here in the future? Or do you have any special projects that you're working on or thinking about getting into?
Well, we currently have a built to rent community in Pearland that I'm raising money for. So, like this weekend we had a meetup, a coffee meetup in the Galleria area, and inviting potential investors to come and learn more and get to know us. And we'll be doing those once a month, moving forward, because we like to meet people. And like I said, meeting people, there's nothing like meeting people in person. Like Zoom is good, but to me, in person is always better. Um, and there's other things in the pipeline that we have that we're working on as well on the Growmax capital and development side. I bought my first single family home this summer. So I'm also excited to build my own rental portfolio. So those are things that I'm working on.
Okay, that's exciting. So tell me more about this single family home. Is it going to be just a long-term rental, short-term rental, or assisted?
Yeah, I
Can you-
started off, I got it rented out it wasn't on the market. We closed and I already had it rented out like the next weekend. So I have a lady that's been in there, and it's a year, it's a long-term rental.
uh,
So I'm kind of starting off with that because I feel like that's my way in to kind of, just less on my plate to just have someone in there long term, even though it might not cash flow as much as I would like in the beginning, but I'm just kind of taking baby steps to see what works for me. And then, my goal is to take some of my profits each year from my from the commercial side with Growmax and then buy my own rental properties and build my own portfolio.
Okay, well, that's exciting, and to be able to get a house rented right after purchasing it, that's amazing, right? And sometimes we get lucky and that happens. I know whenever I'm underwriting a deal, I'll usually underwrite for 3 months worth of vacancy on the front end, right? It might mean getting the house ready to rent and then finding a tenant and then getting the tenant in there. That could easily take up 3 months. So in essence, you did kind of profit by doing that, right? And sometimes like getting the house occupied a month sooner than three, you're saving that 2 months worth of holding costs. So even though you might not be cash flowing, at least it's kind of eliminated that vacancy cost. And for me, like as a real estate investor, like my number one expense in real estate is vacancy costs, right? The time between getting a house renovated, getting it occupied, or in between tenants and things like that. So congratulations.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's freaking amazing. So keep going. I love the story. I love single family homes. Obviously, I still do single family homes, and
Uh,
I don't think I'll ever be able to quit. It's it's a passion and addiction. You know what I mean? But what's cool too is like when we sell houses that we've owned for 5 or 10 years, then we get to take that capital and invest it into bigger deals, right? That's how I kind of grow my investment capital to be able to be a GP or an LP within other people's deals as well, right? So that gives me the ability to invest that capital to make the passive income,
right.
that we all desire. So
Yeah. And that's my goal too, is to not only invest in my projects with Growmax, but also have my own portfolio and then one day be able to invest with other people. So it's kind of like, we have multiple strategies and helping others as well build their dream and contribute to their what they have going on, and then also have your own thing. So it's just kind of one of those things where we're all kind of benefiting from each other.
very cool. Let me ask you this. What would you attribute to being the number one thing that has led to your success?
I think it's just my drive and my determination uh, to be successful and to work hard at whatever it is that I put my mind to and really being good at it. So, real estate, the coffee shop was, even though I had some experience from the past, I wasn't the owner. So when you take on that ownership role of a business, it's a totally different just mindset that you have to be able to run the business from an owner's perspective. And then pivoting into real estate, I didn't know anything about real estate, so I really had to throw myself in and just learn as much as I can. And I'm still learning because each project is different, but I'm willing to commit to the time and not giving up, and just, even though it's new, just really just applying myself. And that way I can make sure that I know what I'm doing, and when I'm bringing people into a project, that I have done my homework and making sure that I am protecting all of my investors.
I love it. I love it. So basically what I'm hearing is that you're always learning, right? Never quit. Be willing to put in whatever work it takes, whatever hours it takes. Essentially trading in that 9 to 5 job for a 24/7 job where your new boss is a maniac. That's yourself, right? Like being self-employed, like, oh my gosh. So it's such a roller coaster, but it's so worth it, right? Because we can do so much more by having that entrepreneur spirit and doing our own deals and investing in ourselves, whether that's, the education or the time into your business. So very good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So last question, and I'll leave you with this. And this is one to give a lot of thought to. And I think about this a lot. And I even mentioned it yesterday because I had a really young guy on our Power Monday calls, 17 years old. And the question is this, like, if you could go and tell your younger self before you did your first deal or did your first business some advice, what advice would you give your 17-year-old self?
So I would say work hard, save your money, but learn how to make your money work for you. And don't be afraid to see what's out there. So how to see how you can capitalize off your money. And instead of working so hard and feeling like you have to constantly be grinding to make more money, have your money start working for you. And real estate is a safe play, and it will pay off in the long run. So not trying to make super quick, fast, easy money, but safe, long-term money that can grow your wealth.
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your advice and your wisdom today. And that's a wrap for today's show. I want to give a huge thank you to Kyra for joining and sharing her invaluable insights. And if you're intrigued by my journey to my first real estate deal, or you want to see extra footage from our interviews with other incredible guests like Kyra, be sure to check out the link in the comments and just click and leave your thoughts. Additionally, if you're looking for funding for your deals, or you have deals in capital that you'd like me to consider, or if you're interested in seeing what we do firsthand at my office, all the information you need is right below in the link. If you know someone who would be a fantastic guest for the podcast like Kyra was today, your introductions are always welcome. So please do us a huge favor, like and share this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It makes a big difference. Your reviews are also greatly appreciated, and they help us to reach more aspiring investors. We'll be back soon with more insights and stories on your first real estate deal, which ultimately led to millions. Kyra, thanks again for being on the show. Do you want to leave some information for people on how they can reach you and learn more about Growmax and what you guys are doing over there and your next live event that maybe they could attend?
Sure, I'd love to. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, Kyra Sam. And then also our website for Growmax is www.growmaxcapital.com, and Growmax is spelled Gromax. So you can reach us there, and I'd love to connect.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, and we'll make sure to put all of the information down below where y'all can click and find Kyra and learn more about her projects and everything in between. So this is Phillip Warrick again signing off. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
And that's a wrap for today's show. A huge thank you to Kyra for joining us and sharing her invaluable insights. If you're intrigued by my journey to my first real estate deal, or you want to see extra footage from our interviews with other incredible guests like Kyra, be sure to check out the link in the comments. Just click and leave your thoughts. Additionally, if you're looking for funding for your deals, or you have deals and capital that you'd like me to consider, or if you're interested in seeing what we do firsthand at my office, all the information you need is right below in the link. If you know someone who'd be a fantastic guest for this podcast like Kyra was today, your introductions are always welcome. Please do me a huge favor, like and share this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It makes a big difference. Your reviews are especially appreciated and help us to reach more aspiring investors. We'll be back soon with more insights and stories on your first real estate deal on the way to millions. This is Phillip signing off. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.